Okay, I've already done the unboxing and first impressions on the Backfire Zealot S2, so today, the rest of the story. Welcome back, I'm Tony, and today we're going to be doing the review portion for the Backfire Zealot S2. I do highly encourage you to go watch the unboxing and first impressions video, which is popping up right here, because I do go over exactly what's inside the box. You get a lot of extras, you get pulleys, you get parts, there's a lot of stuff, and so it's nice to watch that. You also get an idea of what I thought of it at first, and now what I think of it as I've ridden it for a while. First off, I'm typically more into all-terrain or 2-in-1 type boards. They're usually longer, they're more cruisable, you know, and typically more versatile than a street board. I've got a few street boards, but I'm going to tell you this right now. As of today, this is the best street board, or my favorite street board, that I've got in my possession or that I've even ridden. I am just super impressed with this board, from the design to the fit and finish to the deck itself to the lights. And that's one of the fanciest things that's on there, those lights. The remote, even the stock wheels that come on this, which I typically don't go for those urethane street wheels so much, but these were really good. And the overall rideability of this board. Let's take a look at some specs. So the Zealot S2 belt drive electric skateboard goes for $849. They're giving a range of 30 miles. And you do have to remember, when they test these things, and I don't fault them, that's usually a rider that's 165 to 180, and they're probably not going up a lot of hills and putting strain on it, but 30 miles range. I get at 195 around 24, 25 miles. The battery is a 14S2P Samsung 40T, 403 watt hours. The max load weight on this is 240 pounds. So the deck is ABS plus glass fiber plus maple composite, and they're saying that it's snowboard technology, which I'll go with that. So it's grip tape, glass fiber, maple, ABS, LED, then glass fiber. And that's one of the things that impressed me on the bottom of this board, because it just looks like, you know, a wooden board with the paint on it. But look at the texture on that thing. It's got a nice texture to the feel, but it also protects the bottom of the board. And if you're wondering about how they did the lights, they encompassed within the ABS luminous LEDs. So the ABS protects the LEDs. They're not going to get damaged or broken no matter the impact. I don't know about that. I think if you got a nice hard impact to the side of this board, it might have a problem, but I don't know. I haven't had that yet. The trucks are 8-inch aluminum alloy forged CNC trucks. Gravity casting is what it says somewhere else here on here, so I don't know exactly, but they seem like really sturdy trucks. And these trucks are reverse kingpin trucks. They are super stable, and you know, even if they're tight, I can still turn really easily, so that's nice. The carving on these things is smooth. I'm really loving the trucks. Could they be a little bit wider, maybe 9-inch? Yeah, maybe. And these trucks have steel axles, gravity casting hanger, a 50-degree kingpin rake on the base plate. The wheels that come with it are 96 by 55 millimeter PU wheels, and if you look at them, they're kind of stone ground, you know, the actual surface of them. This picture is before I had even ridden on them, and that's kind of nice because it's not a smooth surface. It already has a little bit of grip to it, so it's almost like having a wheel that's slightly worn in, and I like that. Now, they do have these 120 by 60 millimeter MO wheels. I don't know if those are available to purchase yet, but those look pretty cool. I would like to try those. Battery is always important, and Samsung 40Ts are some of the top batteries. And this has the Samsung 40T 21700 14S2P battery pack, accurate battery, smart BMS. It's got an FOC 60A Backfire ESC, two 5255 belt-driven motors at 875 watts apiece. To put that into perspective, if you look at an e-bike or an e-scooter, they usually have one motor that is around 500, maybe 700 watts if you get a nice one. So this is two 875 watt motors. What? And they do offer a 180-day warranty. The remote, man, this remote is the deal right here. 1.5-inch LED display. It's got everything you need to know. No need for a magnifying glass. I like that they say that. Eco and sport modes. You got fingerprint unlock, a reverse switch on it, which makes it easy if you want to do reverse. Personally, I don't really have a need for reverse. To me, having that on the front almost invites your glove or something to switch it into reverse. I don't know. Personalized performance. Adjust the performance of the Zealot S2 to suit your loved one. The acceleration, brake strength, and top speed are all customizable. And you can connect this board to the app, but everything you're going to customize is going to be on the remote itself. The app doesn't do that. The only thing the app will allow you to do is to put it into kid safe or child safe mode. I mean, it's not the only thing it'll allow you to do. But you know, they've got information on here. You can find out about firmware updates and all that kind of stuff. But at least they have an app, and who knows, they could improve that to add some of those features to it. But what they've got is cool. Back to the website now, a smart power button, turbo mode, and it has an aluminum shell. Well, in my unboxing video, I showed you a few of the features, which I'm just going to go ahead and repeat a little bit of that right now, and then I'm going to show you what I didn't show you in the unboxing video. Let's go. Let's turn this thing on by holding that button right there. Nice big color display. It says locked because the fingerprint, I have the fingerprint thing activated. Sometimes it works right off the bat like that. Sometimes it might take a couple of tries, but you can store up to 4 different fingerprints in here. This is aluminum on the front, and then this is a kind of polycarbonate so that the signal can get to the board. If you had the whole thing completely encased in metal, you might have problems with the signal getting to the board. It has a dedicated turbo button, so you just hit that and it goes right into turbo mode. So if you needed to evade a dog or something like that, you might be able to hit that. And easy to go through eco and sport modes. So basically 3 different modes. Reverse and forward on a switch that's down here. I'd probably just eliminate that because I never find myself needing to go in reverse, but you know, hey. All right, now that we've seen those features, let's look at the rest of it. So the menu, all you gotta do is hit this button right here. That is your multifunction or power button. And then of course you can select each one of those. You can see on here that the remote power is 69% available time and the battery capacity on that. And then you got board power, so you can go in there and see what that says. And this is going to show you each of the individual cells. That's pretty cool. There's 14 cells in there. If there's a problem with one of those, which I haven't seen yet, I understand that it's going to tell you that there's an issue with one of those. So that's pretty cool. And then motor and ESC, you can go in here and see what the temperature of everything is. Down here, your eco settings. Now you can go in here and manipulate each one of these different functions, which I think is pretty darn cool. And then to go back, you're going to use this button over here, boom. And then sports settings, of course, you can change the settings for each one of these. I like them the way that they're already set, so I'm leaving them that way. Fingerprint settings, you can go in here and set different fingerprints in here. I've got 2 fingerprints set up, or you can delete them altogether. Go back, and you can go in and restore settings if you want to. I'm going to say no. And you can check for firmware updates. So it's got a lot of different settings on it. Man, just the fact that this remote's got this big, beautiful display on it. I like where it's placed. Instead of being right in the middle of the remote, it's right where I'm looking at my thumb. That's really nice. Tons of information right there on the screen. You can switch through your different modes just by doing that, eco and sport. But when you want to go into turbo, you just hit that middle button and boom, you're in turbo. And then when you want to turn on the lights, it's the function button right there. You just hit that twice, 1, 2. Now the lights have come on. We'll do it again, 1, 2. And then they switch to the pulsing action. It's kind of bright in here, but, and then 1, 2, and then they're blinking. 1, 2, and they're off. So man, I tell you what, there's a lot to like about this. Currently I have the fingerprint thing turned off. It works, and it works pretty darn well, but sometimes it just doesn't want to register, and I'm like, okay, rolling the thumb around. Let me just get I just want to turn on the board and start it. But if you had kids around, you didn't want them to ride it, or for whatever reason, you wanted to be able to lock your board, fingerprint. And it's kind of cool because right here on the back of it, they put a QR code that will take you right to the user guide, which I was like, oh man. So if you're out on the road someplace and you need to figure something out, no problem. Don't have to have your manual with you or search for it. Just QR code. The ESC on this is a 60 amp 14S ESC, and it says smooth control. I gotta say, it is really nice and smooth control on this. And you'll notice the connectors that are on that make it really easy if you need to replace motors. You just unconnect them and pop them right back in. So they've got a wider concave on this than the previous versions of it. And if you look at this picture right here, I think this is a great example of it. Nice curve up around the edges and stuff. And I gotta say, this board, it just locks my feet right in. A lot of times street boards are a lot flatter and that kind of thing. The only thing I would say is that in the front and the back, if there was just a slight rise, just a tiny little bit of a drop down, and the reason for that is because, especially this board's a little bit shorter than some of the boards I ride, I really don't want to look at my feet to figure out their position. I like to just kind of put my feet and slide them out, and when I feel that little edge there, then I'm good. That's really just a small thing, and I have very little to say that isn't great about this board. Now, I mentioned those stock wheels before. I gotta say, these wheels really surprised me because I don't typically like urethane wheels, but I went on some long rides and it was just super comfortable and I really, really liked it. But right now I've got the Cloud wheel, the new Rover 110Rs on there. It's pretty nice, a little bit bigger than the wheels that were already on there, definitely a little bit more squishy, a little bit more grippy because you've got the, you know what, I've got a video for that. You can check that out popping up right here. And I did have those on when I tried turbo mode for the first time. Check it out. It really has some kick, so you got to lean into it. 3, 2. It does, man. It takes, you gotta have some lean and you gotta be ready for the torque. And night riding with this thing is just such a pleasure. I mean, it looks freaking cool. You know, when you're cruising down the road on this, people are like, whoa, what is that? You look like you're something out of Back to the Future or Tron, or I don't know. Either way, it just looks so cool. Definitely a conversation starter. And these lights are bright enough that you can see them during the day, but at night, boom, they just explode. It's really cool. And I love how they actually embedded them in the deck like that. I love it. This board has absolutely no problem climbing hills, which is great because even in sport mode, without going into turbo or anything, right up a hill, it just screams up. I was pretty surprised because belt-driven boards are typically pretty hard to kick push, you know, and if you ever get, I don't know, you run out of battery or something and you're far away from home, you're either carrying that board or you're just gonna try to kick push it home with the belts on there. This thing rolls pretty good with just a regular old kick push, so that was nice. That was a pleasant surprise. Something to keep in mind, this is definitely an urban or street board, all right? Because everything is hanging off the bottom of it. It's not embedded in the board like an AT board or whatever. So you've got the large battery pack, you've got the large ESC hanging off of the bottom of the board. That's one thing, but I did get plenty of clearance when going over speed bumps, so that's not an issue. But what you do have to watch out for is those back trucks. You know, since your motors are mounted up and under the board and not behind the board and up a little bit, they're prone to catching rocks and potholes and things like that, and you will get some scratches and damages on the bottom of your trucks and the you know, the motor hangers or motor mounts. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you like to keep an immaculate board, it might be hard to do that with this one. You're gonna get some dings and stuff, but those are just badges of honor, man. Not only that, it keeps the board more compact, so if you're using it as a commuter board, yeah, that's gonna help out. My bottom line with this thing, it looks so cool. It rides so nicely. I just really like this board, and like I said in the beginning, this is today my favorite street board that I've got. So there we go. That is the Backfire Zealot S2, and I want to thank you really so much for your support here in the channel. Whether you're new to the channel or you've been with the channel since 2013, you know, I like to share my stuff, the things that I'm passionate about, the things that get me excited, the things that get my juice flowing. And electric skateboards, electric bikes, scooters, electric guitars, solar power, solar panels. Those are all things that, well, I've got a bunch of coming up because my production queue is pretty full. But these are all things that make me feel very passionate. I want to share that with you, and maybe you'll find a passion for them too. If you'd like to support the channel monetarily, it is not inexpensive to run these things, cameras, lights, everything else that goes with it. You can do so with that thanks button that you'll see down at the bottom of this video. The easiest way to support me though is if you like what you see, hit that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that red subscribe button. And if you want to get notifications, well, hit the notification. You'll get notifications when I upload new videos. I'll have links down there for this board and a bunch of other stuff that I've reviewed here on the channel that I really like. And I also have links down there for my social media, so if you have one of those, I'd appreciate a follow. Well, that's going to do it for this episode. We'll catch you next time on the Vapor Trail channel.